Billionaire. I am humbled and honored to have Grant Cardone on my show. I want to have my mom listen to this. She's not going to believe me. Grant, welcome to the Bill Wooditch Show.
Bill, you give your mom a big hug and a kiss from me, all right?
Well, Grant, I think that commonality is found in a background that possibly there were some similar experiences. You grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I grew up in a borough, Kane, Pennsylvania. We had one thing in common. We had a lower middle-class upbringing. I've done my research on you. And we also had a burning, I think, an insatiable desire to get the hell out of there. We both share that.
Yeah.
Without dipping too far in your background, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, my dad died when I was 10. He did really well. He was a stockbroker doing the boom between 58 and 68. And he did really well. And then, he for where he was in his life, he did really well. But he died at 52 years old, left a little bit of insurance paper for my mother. So while it would appear that we were, safely in the middle class, I watched my mom every day terrified about money, whether we could spend money at the store, not spend money at the store, what a can of beans cost. And I was 10 years old, Bill, and I'm watching my mom. We supposedly are better off than most people, and I heard that every day. Yet my mom was terrified every second. I couldn't do anything about it. So by the time I was 15 years old, I'm like, this middle class thing sucks. And she's like, no, we're doing good. We're doing good. I'm like, yeah, but you're scared all the time and I can't help you. And so by the time I was 16 years old, I said, one day I'm going to get out of this middle class. One day I'm going to get rich, and I actually used that word and I got slapped for it. And my goal was not to get rich to have things, but to be able to help my mom, really.
Yeah. And that feeling of helplessness is something, unless you really have that deep feeling inside, you don't know what it is. I had the same thing. My mom used to look at the price on groceries and look and buy something for 11 cents instead of something that was, 12 cents and shop everything. And then I had to make do with flour and, we ate pasta 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I understand that. Grant, let me ask you this. And you are you are an ascending star. And I think you've, in your book, Be Obsessed, you have a section where you talk about, you keep moving. You have to keep working toward your potential. Never be satisfied. Keep moving. But what's Grant Cardone's definition of success?
Well, for me, it's it does move and it evolves. So for me, success is just I'm constantly trying to reach for my full potential. It's not a car or a house or a plane or a certain amount of money. For me, it's what is my potential. And my potential as a 15-year-old is different than my potential today with the information I have and the connections I have. So the reason you see so many successful people continue to push for another level, at which point people are like, why does Tom Brady need a fifth ring? Why doesn't he just hang it up? Because Tom Brady is reaching for his full potential, and only he knows what that is. Why is Warren Buffett still in the game or Bill Gates still in the game when they're already, 2 of the 5 richest people on the planet? Because they're reaching for something that you can't cash in at a bank, which is potential, the discovery of what a person can do as opposed to what a person has done.
The human, that innate need for striving that lies dormant in so many people that comes out because we just have to.
Yeah, and it's why 200 million people watch the Super Bowl, because those people aren't watching the Super Bowl because they like football. They're watching it because they know they have an opportunity to see greatness on a screen.
Mm-hmm. If you could attribute your success to one trait, and it's going to be a difficult one for you. What do you think that trait would be?
Well, it wouldn't be my good looks.
I don't know, man. You look pretty good.
I know, but I think my good looks actually
going on now.
I think my good looks actually hurt me along the way. I think probably the trait that I would probably say has been most beneficial to me is the just not quitting, like the willingness to hang in there. Like every business that I've started, everybody told me not to do it, including the people that were closest to me. Every one of them took way longer than they should have. I wanted to quit 1,000 times. Even the woman I'm married to, she didn't want to go out with me. So I'm not a very lucky guy. They're not easy for me. Everything seems difficult for me. So persistence, man, just not quitting, even in the face of every indicator suggesting now would be the time to quit.
Here's one of your quotes. You think I do too much, but I don't think about you at all.
Yeah.
You got an unapologetic approach. Your style is all you. And most of us fear exposing ourselves. What was your tipping point? When did you say, screw it, man, I'm just going to be me?
Because, man, I tried the other thing, Bill, and people didn't like me when I was trying to be them. And then I didn't like me. So you try to please everybody, all you end up with is, the half that wasn't going to like you probably still isn't going to like you. And now you're left with not liking you too. So I don't know, somewhere in the last 13 or 14 years, I just got to where I'm going to go for this deal. This is my gig, my deal, my name, my brand. And if half the people don't like me, I said this in the first book that I wrote. If I could get half the people to hate me, I could probably become the president. And that's what we have now.
Yeah. Yes, you were Trump before Trump. I had to just get that out.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you this question. I can't remember the exact time. Anywhere between 3 hours to 36 hours, you wrote the book "Sell or Be Sold." Is that correct?
Yeah, I wrote that book in 3 hours.
You got to be kidding.
I wrote that book in 3 hours. I wrote. Now check this out. I wrote the Millionaire booklet. I wrote the Millionaire booklet in 2 hours. The book Be Obsessed or Be Average took 19 months. So people tell me it's impossible to write a book in 2 or 3 hours. All right, well, it's impossible for you, but I did it. Now, that doesn't mean that book was completely edited. It came with hundreds and hundreds of grammar mistakes, vocabulary errors, commas in the wrong places. So it wasn't perfect, but it was a best-selling book. So people would tell me all the time, man, you got errors all over this book. And I'm like, it's a best-selling book, son, okay? And all the people that were telling me that I did it wrong had never written a book. So that goes to talk about the haters, It's like
right.
They all got opinions, but they don't do much.
How do you handle the haters? You're a success? Is that, serve as a dish cold?
Yeah, number one, the hater is not the one that you need to be concerned with. It is the people that listen to the hater that you need to be concerned with because they're weak people. So they tend to pass on the information that the hater shared. The hater actually is an indication that you have made it. Bill, I'm sure you get your fair share of hate, dude. You got a radio show, you got an opinion, people don't like something you said. Those are haters. But the haters are they're like fuel because they promote the individual. And for some of us, they actually inspire us to do more of that. So I think I have it equated mentally that the hater is an indication that I'm doing something right, that I'm actually getting attention. Without attention, you're not going to get success. It's impossible. And I remind myself, man, that they pounded nails in Jesus's hands and feet and put a crown on his head called a crucifixion. So whatever you say about me is kind of small compared to being put on a cross.
And that is a great takeaway for the listener, because you living someone else's life, living that shadow life, is the root cause of unhappiness. I mean, you're living a life of proxy. It's not really you. You're just living vicarious through other people, and you fear to risk because you think you want to be safe and you want to be liked, and that's the way to unhappiness.
Yeah, totally agree.
I'm going to drop this one on you though, because I could ask you about sleep. Churchill was famous for this. It used to drive Hitler crazy. Besides the musings of his mind and the Eastern Front, Hitler went crazy with Churchill's energy. He couldn't figure out why he was doing things at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. How could this man do this? So how in the heck does Grant Cardone do what he does and not sleep? How much sleep do you get?
Well, dude, first of all, you assume I don't sleep because of the amount of activity that you see me producing every day.
Yeah.
So notice that people start thinking, dude, the guy must never sleep, right? People think that Trump doesn't ever sleep, but he does sleep, okay? See, because what they're focused on is the activity. So this is a little trick, a little magic trick that people should understand. If you can figure out omnipresence, the word means the idea of being everywhere all at the same time. It's not about being everywhere. It's about being everywhere at the same time. So how can I be on Bill's show, on YouTube, on Facebook, on a live stream someplace, on a Snapchat, and then have an article dropped about me like seconds after this interview? The way to do that is to commit to being omnipresent, everywhere at the same time. It creates the impression that I never sleep, that I'm never gone. And anything, by the way, Bill, that is designated this label of omnipresence is also given the label of power. You know, God is everywhere in the Bible. You see it all over. God is everywhere. God is everywhere all the time. So you can do this today with social media. Last night, on the sleep question, I got 12 hours of sleep last night because when I went to bed at 8 o'clock, I didn't feel good and I didn't wake up till 8. Now, nobody would think that I got 12 hours last night, but I did.
I'm speechless for the first time in the show and probably for the first time in my life.
Yeah, and I get 7 to 8 hours every day, by the way, okay? It's what I do with the other 17 hours that matters.
Well, I'm going to throw this to you, okay? I saw one of your latest streams. I mean, you're all over the place, but that bulletproof coffee, you might want to think twice about.
No, I know, dude. My pilot has me doing the bulletproof thing. I think it's every time I drink one, I said, this is stupid.
You know, I say that sometimes our mind understands what our emotion rejects. And if you think it's stupid, it just might be because it's going to have that negative effect on your health at some point. Be careful of that, man.
No doubt about it. 2 scoops of butter, 2 things of oil with coffee is dumb. Go ahead. It's amazing to me that somebody would think of this and actually make money with it. So I'm like, I'm going to drink. I'm just drinking to him now.
But it's grass-fed, so you got to feel good about the butter. Speaking of dumb, one of my favorite videos is you and that dummy. When you're talking about it's dumb to borrow money to go to college.
Yeah.
Can you give me a quick one on that, Grant? Well, why is it dumb to borrow money to go to college?
Well, dude, you know, if I came to you, Bill, and said, hey, I got a great idea, Billy, check it out. Billy, I'm going to get you a loan to go to a place called Harvard, okay? And you're going to be there for 5 years. You're going to borrow money for 5 years. You're not going to make any money on that money for 5 years. And oh, by the way, Bill, when you get out, I can't guarantee you that you'll get a job more than maybe being a barista that pays, you know, $10 an hour, and they're going to promise you 12 sometime in the next 4 or 5 years. And by the way, you don't need to pay anybody back until like later in life. Sound like a good deal to you?
No, that might be a good deal. The barista sounds good to me right now.
Yeah. You don't get any income. I can't guarantee you a job. I can't guarantee you a product. You're going to be out of the marketplace for 5 years. And when you finally finish, oh, by the way, you're not guaranteed to learn much.
Terrible deal. We're going to have much more of Grant Cardone. This has been incredible, an eye-opener for me as well, and I didn't even have that bulletproof coffee. We'll be back with Grant. Don't go away. You're listening to The Bill Wooditch Show.
All right, great work, Grant. Stand by. I'll be back in about 4 minutes here.
Welcome back to The Bill Wooditch Show with very special guest, Grant Cardone. Grant,
Billy.
welcome back to the show.
Billy, I missed you, man. Where'd you go?
I was just thinking, man, I'm building a kinship with you, buddy. I just want to hang out with you and lift weights and drink bulletproof coffee, and let's see how far we can go on our adrenaline and good looks.
Dude, I love it, man. I love it. Let's roll. I like the idea.
Grant, after school, and I thought I was too good to be in sales, and I think you said the same thing. I went to school to be a manager. I wasn't going to be in sales. That was something dirty. It was something that people wanted to take my money and give me nothing back in return, and then people looked down with a jaundiced eye. And it's like, sales, man, couldn't you do anything real? What's your take on what you thought about in sales before you entered into the arena?
Well, and this goes back to your earlier question about college, borrowing money for 4 or 5 years to go to college, and they don't teach you how to sell anything. Like nobody's going any place on this planet without learning how to sell. It's just not going to happen. I don't care if you're Lady Gaga and a musician, or you're Howard Schultz at Starbucks, or the dude that came up with that BS bulletproof diet, okay? Whatever it is, man, you're going to have to sell it. You know, you're Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. The only people that actually move up in life are the people that can actually move, sell, you know, not just come up with good ideas, but move their product into the marketplace. If you ever watch Shark Tank, sooner or later, Mark Cuban or Mr. Wonderful or my friend Damon John is going to ask a question. In every show, every presentation, that question is going to be the same. What were your sales last year? So
Right.
the value of you, your product, your idea, your company is based on one thing: the ability to sell products in the marketplace.
And you know, we think sales is confined to the world of business, but you had to sell to get that first date with your wife, and you were not only persistent, you were a great salesperson, right? I mean, you sell every day in life. Where you want to take your wife out, what you're going to have for dinner, you're negotiating for a raise, how you dress, what you do. Everybody sells, man.
Everybody sells, or they don't. You know, that's they either do or they don't. And then the people that say, "I hate sales. I'm not a salesman. I'm not a sales type." What you ought to go get a T-shirt that just says, "I quit. I'm done."
I wonder if I could wear it. I should wear that. That would probably look pretty interesting. People would not believe it.
Look, nobody wants to do that, Bill, but nobody wants to be broke either. You know, everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die.
Wish and hope don't cash the results. Banks don't cash our intents. They cash our results. Grant, 10X Growth Con. If I go there, I should say after this talk, I have to go there. Do I have to push through hordes of security to get up close to you, or what?
No, man. I'll come find you, Bill. Come on, buddy. We're going to be spooning on the brakes.
Tell me.
10X spoon.
Tell me about
10X man spoon. 10X Growth Con. Let me tell you who's going to be there.
Baby.
Let me tell you who's going to be at this conference. This is a 3-day event. Every speaker there has a company that's producing money. Almost $10 billion in sales last year from the 20 speakers. There's going to be 20 speakers, 40 sessions, Q&A after every speaker. Damon John from Shark Tank will be there. Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank and an infomercial king. Les Brown. Tim Story, Tim Grover from Relentless, who worked with Michael Jordan. Hank Norman. My wife's going to be there talking about empire building. Tom Cummings did $254 million in sales last year. Bobby Castro, he's a $600 million business. Jay Abraham, who's helped people build multi-million, $100 million empires. I mean, the list goes on and on. Frank Kern, who does website and funnel marketing. Jamie Shanks, who does social selling. Gloria Mayfield Banks, who does network marketing. I go on and on. And by the way, I'm going to be there for 3 days to help people figure out what they have to do to 10X 2017. You won't walk on fire. You're not required to walk on fire. You don't have to dance while you're there. You don't have to get up and get all excited. But what you do need to do is come with an open mind to figure out how to blow up your business.
So I know one person that won't be there. Let me ask, and that's going to be somebody that teaches people to walk on coals. When and where 10X Growth Con?
If you go to 10xgrowthcon.com, 10xgrowthcon.com, you can get all the information.
Let me say this. I have sales reps in my company who said, "You're going to be on with Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone's going to be on your show. I want to be on the show. I want to shake his hand. I want to listen to him." So the pressure on me today is not for the listening audience across the United States and Canada, but it's for the people in my own office who are thinking that Grant Cardone is the guy that wrote the book, and by the way, Bill Wooditch read the book, and now he teaches us to do what Grant taught him to do. So you have that going for you.
Well, your sales guys should have a pretty easy job selling advertising on your show, buddy.
Thank you. How do you learn from failure, Grant? How do you learn?
Well, first of all, let me just say that I learn more from success than I learn from failure. I don't like failing, man. I don't like failing. There's nothing about the failing thing that I like, but it does tell me where I missed, right? So if you're shooting a gun, if you're target practicing, you start making adjustments if you're too far left or low left or whatever the situation, right? So the failures help if you're making adjustments. Now, for me, a guy told me years ago, he's like, "Look, man, just remember this. Failure can't happen if you don't quit, bro. If you keep shooting, you will hit the bullseye sooner or later." And I was like, "What'd you just say?" And I don't know why. I'd heard that before, Bill, but this really hit me. Like, if I don't quit, I can't fail. So today, like, I'm going to build a multi-billion-dollar real estate company, okay? I don't know how to do it, but I know this. If I don't quit, I can't fail. I'll get there sooner or later.
I think that, and I'm the same way. I always look for a way. People say, what did you learn from failure? And I just never defined it as failure. I just looked at something as I had to adjust and keep going and just keep moving. It was part of the bargain for success.
Exactly.
I didn't really define it as failure. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. I just missed. I didn't fail. My wife wouldn't go out with me for 13 months, and I just kept calling her. Okay, the first call didn't work. Second one didn't work. The 24th one didn't work. The 26th one, she had a baby with me.
Hey, man, you're a stalker at that point.
It's not stalking if it works, dude. If it works, it's not stalking. And most people quit because they're worried about the label. Like your sales guys, I don't want to appear needy. I don't want to appear pushy. I don't want to beg for business. Well, you know what? That's why you don't have any business, man, because you're not willing to do whatever it takes.
You're right. And people smell three things on you: fear, desperation, and greed. And growing that pipeline puts you in a place where you don't have to give up your self-respect, thinking that you have to make every freaking sale. If fear, desperation, and greed are things that people do not want to partner with. Now, I will console weakness, Grant, but I ain't going to partner with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So fear, desperation, and greed. But let me just say this. If you don't quit, even if I'm labeled fearful, desperate, greedy, the guy that doesn't quit will then be called crazy. And you're close to getting some business now.
Yes. When you start making money, they call you eccentric.
Yeah. Man, that dude's eccentric, man. That dude's weird. He's crazy. Yeah, but he's rich, son.
I got a shirt for you. It's I don't know if you've seen it. It's attributed to Winston Churchill. There's a frog coming out of the mouth of a duck, and it's got its hands around the duck's as it's in its stomach, around its throat, and it says "Never ever quit."
That's right.
Buy that shirt for you. What are you wearing now? Like just a regular X, or you working out? Because that's my next question. Is physically. How do you take care of yourself physically?
I'm a medium, dude. I take pretty good care of myself. I try to work out 3 or 4 times a week. I really should work out more than that. I try to get a swim in every day. So. Yeah. I take care of myself. I stay busy, man. I think people need to worry about keeping their mind busier than their body, though. Like if I need to stay busy, and I need to take care of my body too. So I totally agree with that. And back to that quit thing, Look at Brady the other day, man. They're like, dude, you need 2 touchdowns, you need two 2-point extra points, and what else did he need? And you got to win the coin toss. Just to get into overtime, you got to do all that. And he's like, yeah. Don't be a little bitch, man. Sit back and watch what I do, son.
Now, this is killing me. It's tearing my guts out because I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But I'm going to let you run with that because you should be a Saints fan for growing up in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Dude, I'm a winners fan. I'm a winners fan. I'm a champions fan, okay?
Well, mental toughness is the key, and Brady exemplifies, embodies mental toughness. I mean, he was like, sixth round pick out of Michigan. No one paid any attention to him. The underdog that drove it forward. I think you and I relate to that.
Unbelievable. And you notice it's an interesting thing for people that own businesses, and we'll be talking about this at the 10X Growth Con, is their team is a little different than every other team in football because it is built around 3 people: the owner, the coach, and the quarterback.
Yep.
And everybody else is dispensable. Okay? Yep. You don't operate under the program. You're not Bill's under Bill's program. He's like, you're out of here, man. And he'll blow talent out in a second.
Grant, I think there are 4 pillars that you build your life around: physical, spiritual, emotional, and the intellectual. How do you find time to feed the intellectual to read? Because that's one of the keys you talk about with Warren Buffett and other people who you've got to make that time to feed your mind. How do you find that time? How do you make that time?
By having new targets. If you're the people that don't have the time to read, to learn, are the people that don't have new goals. If you have goals, if I want a multi-billion-dollar real estate business, then I have to study people. The only way I can do that is at some point is to go public, right? So if I want to go public and play the game, I got to start reading what I don't know. If I want to be one of the biggest top 5 people on social media and I'm 58 years old, then I got to figure out the social media game. So the reason people don't read, the reason people don't go to conferences is because they don't take the time to have a new big giant goal that would inspire them to want to be around different people.
You might have haters, but I love you, man. Great. Thank you, Grant. Awesome.
Thank you, Brother Bill.